children. Today we have a new chapter, lesson 2 of your science book, components of food. Means we are going to study about the food, what we eat, and from it what kind of nutrients do we get. And first we will talk about food. What is called food? Say, substance which we eat, right? Means all those substances which are edible, which we eat, when it come in a group, then it is called food. For example, I have drawn this figure for you. This is your plate, in which you take these items for consuming, right? So this is your food: rice, chapatis, butter, salad, curd, vegetables, pulses, water. Children, in this plate, you are seeing lots of different varieties of items, right? All these items have different nutrients. Now, what is called nutrients? Food and nutrients. Say, food, what we eat, right? And nutrients, the chemical substance which we get from the food, is called nutrients. Like rice we eat, so rice is a food, and from rice we get the carbohydrate. So carbohydrate is the nutrient. In the same way, butter is kind of food, but it provides us a nutrient called fat. Same, chapatis provides you carbohydrate, salad provides you vitamins and minerals, curd provides you vitamins, vegetables provide you again vitamins and minerals, pulses provides you proteins. Children, the substance which we eat is your food, and the chemical substance what we get from the food is called nutrients. I hope you have understood it very well. Here you can see that we eat food. From the food we get nutrients. Nutrients are of different kinds. I have written here: number 1, carbohydrates; 2, fats; 3, proteins; 4, vitamins; 5, minerals. And these are needed by our body. That's why we take them also: roughage and water. Here you know better about the carbohydrates and fats. In the junior classes, previous classes, you have studied about that. Carbohydrates provide you energy, fats provide you energy. That is why they both altogether called energy giving food. A source of carbohydrate. So as you can see in the picture what I have drawn, carbohydrate source is wheat. Chapatis made up of wheat. Rice, carbohydrate, right? So many sources are there. You have to read your book for it. Butter, ghee, oil provides you fats. So the first two nutrients, carbohydrate and fats, provides you energy, and that is why this is called energy giving food. Number 3, nutrients, proteins. Proteins helps in the formation of new cells in your body, and it used to repair the damaged cells of your body. That is why it is called bodybuilding food. That's why it is suggested by the doctors. Children who are in the age of growing, they should consume more and more proteins. Reason, it helps in the bodybuilding. Alright, so proteins are called bodybuilding food. And for the proteins, again I am taking you here. Pulses are the good source of proteins. Pulses are the plant protein. For the animal proteins, you can take meat, egg, fish, and many more. The next category of nutrient is vitamins. Vitamins used to be of 6 kinds: A, B, C, D, E, K. Like vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Children, vitamin B have itself a lot of kinds, right? B1, B2, B3. That's why we say vitamin B complex, because it has its own different categories. Now, the next nutrient is minerals. Minerals like potassium, magnesium, iron, calcium, zinc, many varieties are there of minerals also. They both used to help in the proper functioning of our body. They provide you immunity to fight with the disease, to fight with germs, right? That is why they are called protective food, because they protect you against diseases. That's why they are called protective. Needs of our body is called food. From the food, the chemical substance what we get, which is important for our growth, our development, is called nutrients. There are 5 kinds of nutrients: carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and these 2 are non-essential. These are essential, these are non-essential. But water is essential in all way, right? Phase is non-essential. So all these are. Now, you think about the 5 sources of each, right? 5 sources of carbohydrate, 5 for fat, 5 for protein. Think yourself, explore your brain. I hope you will get your answer. Think about your plate, what your mama serves you. I have taught you nutrient. So I thought, let us see the kind of nutrient on the basis of amount. Means how much of the particular nutrient we consume. See, nutrients are divided into 2 groups: macronutrients and micronutrients. My children, macro means larger, micro means very tiny, very smaller, right? So here you make your definition yourself. See, nutrient which we require in large quantity are called macronutrients, and nutrients which we require in less quantity are called micronutrients. Macronutrients are of 3 kinds: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. That is why you can see that in the plate the amount of carbohydrate is more, amount of protein is more in compared to the other things, right? So the nutrients which we require in a large quantity are called macronutrients, and nutrients which we require in less quantity are called micronutrients. I have tried to show you an activity, children. In this activity you can watch test for starch, a food substance containing a starch or not. It can be tested by this process, this activity. Here you need some raw food and you need dilute iodine solution. When here in this picture I have taken a piece of bread, and this bread I poured a drop of iodine. Here what I got, there is the change in the color. As iodine react with it, the piece of bread turns into blue-black color. Means when the starch is present in the food turns into blue-black color. Otherwise, if starch is absent in the food, there is no change. So you have to understand that you have to repeat this activity with many food items. Wherever you will find change, the food contains a starch, and wherever you don't see any change, that means there is no starch present in the food. You have watched the previous activity in which you have tested for the starch, and you have got the result: change in color to starch present. If there is no change, then starch is absent, right? Here we are going to see the another test for protein. Here you will take food, copper sulfate and caustic soda. We have to take 2 chemicals for testing the presence of protein. I have taken pulses. Children, this pulse should be in the powder form so that it can absorb easily the chemicals, right? So first crush the pulses into powder form. I have forgot to make the arrow here. First crush the pulses into powder form, then add here 2 drops of copper sulfate, right? Just 2 drops of copper sulfate and 10 drops of caustic soda. See children, ratios should be always 2:10 to make you permanently learned. I'm writing here copper sulfate 2 drops and caustic soda 10 drops, right? And then what will you observe? You will observe that the food turns into purple color or violet color. This shows that the food contains protein. If you repeat it with the other contents, right? So if you do not get any change, that means that food do not contain protein, right? So I hope you have understood it very well. Okay, we have to take the food, we add the 2 drops of copper sulfate and we add 10 drops of caustic soda. If the food turns its color into violet, that means the food contains protein. But if food is not turning the color, changing the color, that means the food do not contain protein. Dear children, here we are going to test for fats present in the food, right? Take any of the oily food like paratha, samosa, bread with the butter, whatever your favorite, but should be whatever you want to take, you can, right? Then place the food in a piece of paper, right? And then crumb the piece of paper so that it can crush into a short form. Afterwards, you have to open the paper, remove the food out from it. Just now you have to take the piece of paper, and what you have to observe, if the piece of paper have oil patches and droplets of oil patches are present, that means the food contains oil, butter, ghee, the food contains fat. Result, if oil patch is present after this activity, then the fat is present in the food. And if you do with the food with the another foods, repeat it with another foods, and you find no oil patches on the paper, that means that do not contain fats. Children, in this video we are going to study that why do we need various nutrients. Carbohydrate mainly provide energy to our body. Fats also give us energy. In fact, fats give much more energy as compared to the same amount of carbohydrate. But the problem is with fat that today you will eat, tomorrow, day after tomorrow you will get the energy. Reason, fat doesn't digest immediately. Carbohydrate immediately digest and provide you energy. Here are some sources of fats: plant sources and animal sources. Plant sources: sunflower oil, mustard oil, coconut, soybean oil. These are plant sources of fats. And animal sources of fats like ghee, milk, butter, cream, egg, fish, meat, etc. Here we can see that foods containing fats and carbohydrates are called energy giving foods. Yesterday I taught you about it. Proteins are needed for the growth and repair of our body. Source of proteins in the picture: Some sources of proteins, plant source and animal sources. Plant source, moong, gram, tur dal, beans, peas, soybean. है ना? When we see the animal sources, so we get the meat, milk, eggs, fish, paneer, etc. Containing proteins are called body building foods. है ना? Means the food containing proteins are called bodybuilding foods. Vitamins and minerals I taught you yesterday. This vitamin and this mineral, they both are called protective food. Yeah. Vitamins help in protecting our body against diseases. Vitamins also help in keeping our eyes, bones, teeth and gums healthy. Vitamins are of different kinds known by different names. Some of these are A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. There is also a group of vitamins called vitamin B complex. It is a group of vitamins, vitamin B complex. Our body needs all types of vitamin in small quantities. That is why I taught you this in the category micronutrient, because it requires in our body in the small quantities. Vitamin A keeps our skin and eyes healthy. C helps body to fight against many diseases. D helps our body to use calcium for bones and teeth. Foods that are rich in different vitamins are shown in the figure. See, vitamin A sources: carrot. What is this? Mango. Fish oil, milk. Here some source of vitamin B. You can see liver. Here some source of vitamin C. All the sour taste fruits are source of vitamin C, and milk, butter, eggs, fish are the source of vitamin D. And vitamin D you can get from the sunlight also. Early morning sunlight provides you vitamin D. Here, minerals are needed for our body in a small quantity, small amounts. That is why I taught you again this topic also in the micronutrients. Each one is essential for proper growth of body and to maintain good health. Some sources of different minerals are here in this pictures. We can see that sources of iodine, source of phosphorus, source of iron, source of calcium. So by this you have come to know iodine, phosphorus, iron and calcium are some examples of minerals. Dear children, see here, besides these nutrients, our body needs dietary fibers and water. As I taught you yesterday that we consume dietary fibers and water also along with our foods. In this case, reason of dietary fiber is dietary fibers helps the undigested food, or it helps the food to move from one organ to another organ. Here you can see dietary fibers are also known as roughage, right? It is mainly provided by plant products in our foods. Means roughage we get from the plant products. Whole grains, pulses, potatoes, fresh fruits and vegetables are main sources of roughage. Roughage does not provide any nutrient to our body. It is very important that roughage does not provide any nutrient. It is an essential component of our food and adds to its bulk. See, bulk means it makes the food heavier like digested food in the bolus form, so that it easily passes from our alimentary canal. This helps our body get rid of undigested food. That is why it is suggested that fibrous food we should eat, so that the problem of constipation can't be occur. Here, water helps our body to absorb nutrients from food. See, water After the dietary fibers, next topic is water. It helps our body to absorb nutrients from food. Also helps in throwing out some waste from body such as urine and sweat. Normally, we get most of the water that our body needs from the liquids we drink such as water, milk and tea. In addition, we add water to most cooked foods. Let's see if there is any other source which provides water to our body. See, we drink on the liquid content, so where we get the water. Sometimes we add the water in our foods, like when we prepare dal, we prepare vegetable curries, and while cooking the rice. So in all that case, we add water in it, right? Here, apart from this, few other activities means it is another activity where you can see how you get water from the food. Take a tomato or fruit like lemon, cut it into small pieces. Do your hands get wet while doing so? Yes, you will say yes. The answer is yes, I know. Reason, they contain a liquid in it, right? So as we cut them, our hand get wet, right? Here, we see that many food materials themselves contain water. To some extent, our body needs are met by this water. Apart from this, we also add water while cooking many food items. And next topic is balanced diet. Balanced diet, the diet which contain all the nutrients in a proper ratio, है ना? So the diet which contain all the nutrients in a fixed amount is called balanced diet, है ना? Which nutrients I am talking about? I am talking about carbohydrate, fat, protein. I am talking about minerals and vitamins also, as well as I am talking for the dietary fibers and water. Means the diet which contain all these things, all these substances, so they are called balanced diet. Their ratio should be definite, fixed. Saying pulses, groundnuts, soybean, sprouted seeds, fermented foods, combination of flours, bananas, spinach, sattu, jaggery, available vegetables and such foods provide many nutrients. Therefore, one can eat a balanced diet without expensive food materials. Here, if the vegetables and fruits are washed after cutting or peeling them, it may result in loss of some vitamins. Means unwashed fruits, when you eat on them, so you can come in the contact of germs, right? But when you try to peel it off unnecessarily, when you cut their outer covering unnecessarily, so sometimes you lose their important vitamins. Here, the skins of many vegetables and fruits contain vitamins and minerals. Similarly, repeated washing of rice and pulses may remove some vitamins and minerals present in them. We all know that cooking improves the taste of food and makes it easier to digest. Here, we should wash our fruits, vegetables before eating them. We should wash the rice and pulses before cooking, but not too much to wash. Otherwise, it lost its minerals and vitamins. We all know that cooking improves the taste of food and makes it easier to digest. At the same time, it also results in the loss of certain nutrients. When you cook a food at high temperature, so their proteins, their vitamins, their minerals get denatured, and at that time you do not receive any of the nutrient. At high temperature, the nutrient used to destroy. Many useful proteins and considerable amount of minerals are lost if excess water is used during cooking and is then thrown away. Suppose you have in case of rice, there is an old method when the ladies were cooking the rice. First, they cook the rice and boil the rice in the water. Then they were separating that rice water out, and uncooked boiled rice were again placing in the on the flame, and then it was eaten by the people. So by this method, the excess starch, ladies were trying to remove the excess starch from it so that it cannot cause harm. So here, but by doing this, so water is used during cooking and is then thrown away, the amount of minerals are lost. Vitamin C gets easily destroyed by heat during cooking. When you means overheat, when you provide the heat to the vitamin C, so they used to lose their nutritive value. So for again non-nutritive food you eat. Here, deficiency here, it can be very harmful for us to eat too much of fat-rich foods, and we may end up suffering from a condition called obesity. See, it's a simple thing to understand. If you consume energy a lot, consumption of energy is high and expenditure of energy is low. So in this case, what happens? Obesity cause. Energy consumption is high, expenditure is low. So in this case of obesity arise, right? Obesity arise. To reduce this condition, the better solution, eat less, work hard. Or as much calorie do you consume, same amount of calorie you should burn in a day by working physical exercise, by working physical activities. So this obesity problems doesn't rise. Deficiency diseases, disease which is caused due to deficiency of any nutrients is called deficiency diseases, right? Here, when we eat on the food and we don't take balanced diet, means there is a lack of some nutrient. So in the lack of particular nutrient, there are diseases, and diseases are called deficiency diseases. See, disease that occur due to lack of nutrients over a long period are called deficiency diseases. I'm underlining this is an important definition. Diseases that occur due to lack of nutrients over a long period of time are called deficiency diseases. Means when suppose you have stopped to eat on protein for the long period of time, so in this case you will suffer from the disease Kwashiorkor, which is what? Protein deficiency disease. If a person does not get enough proteins in his food for a long time, he likely to have stunted growth. Stunted growth means poor growth. The body doesn't develop into a proper normal way. Swelling of face, discoloration of hair, skin diseases, and diarrhea. These all are the disease which occurs due to lack of protein. If the diet is deficient in both carbohydrates and proteins for a long period of time, the growth may stop completely. No carbohydrate, no protein, then there is no growth. Such a person becomes very lean and thin and so weak that he may not even to move. He may not even be able to move. Means proteins help in the bodybuilding. Carbohydrates provide energy for running this body. If there is a lack of both the nutrients, so if a person is unable to move and work. Here one disease is there which is called PEM. PEM is the disease which occurs due to deficiency of carbohydrates and proteins. Protein energy deficiency disease. Malnutrition. Malnutrition and undernutrition is also a term in which when the nutrients doesn't used to be in a proper quantity in a diet, so that condition is called malnutrition. Deficiency of different vitamins and minerals may also result in certain diseases or disorders. Some of these are mentioned in the table I'll show you. All deficiency diseases can be prevented by taking a balanced diet. Means all this can be hit back by taking the balanced diet. When we eat a balanced diet where all the nutrients are present in a proper quantity, so in this case we do not face all this situation. In this chapter we asked ourselves the reason why widely varying food from different regions had a common distribution. This distribution we find ensured that our meal have a balance of the different nutrients needed by the body. Is in this line it is saying ingredients, as I told you, ingredients used to remain same in the food, and dishes are different, ingredients are same in our country in different state to state region. Ingredients provides the particular nutrients, and these nutrients are no matter from where the diet we are talking about. Nutrients are important for everyone for the proper growth of the person's body, right? So that's why nutrients do not vary. We can say food varies due to state, due to weather, climate. Here some of the disease which is caused due to deficiency of vitamins and minerals. Vitamin A, loss of vision, it is also called night blindness, poor vision, loss of vision in darkness, sometimes complete loss of vision. Vitamin B1 cause beriberi. Beriberi means weak muscles and very little energy to work. In this video children, I want to show you some disease which caused by deficiency of vitamins and minerals. Vitamin A. If there is a deficiency of vitamin A in your balanced diet, then the disease occur, loss of vision. It is also called night blindness. So in this disease what happens? People are unable to see in the dim light. It used to affect our eyes. Poor vision, loss of vision in darkness, sometimes complete loss of vision. Vitamin B1 cause beriberi, which symptoms is weak muscles and very little energy to work. Vitamin C cause scurvy. See, cause means lack of vitamin C cause bleeding of gums. Wounds take longer time to heal. Wounds means any injury is there in the body, so it do not heal. It doesn't heal quickly. It takes time. Vitamin D, lack of vitamin D cause rickets. Rickets is the disease which used to make our bones weak, and that's why the bones become soft and bent. Then calcium, bone and tooth decay, weak bones, tooth decay. Tooth decay means tooth easily get rot and then they fall down. That's why we say tooth decay. Iodine is a mineral which lacking of iodine cause goiter. In the neck region the thyroid gland is present, so that gland used to swell up, thyroid gland, and that disease is called goiter disease. Glands in the neck appear swollen. Mental disability in children means there is the problem also that the development of brain do not take proper. That's why the brain doesn't develop well. So children have mentality means mental disability problem. Iron, lack of iron cause anemia, and due to lack of hemoglobin in our blood, this anemia cause. So for the formation of hemoglobin, our diet should be rich with the iron, and hemoglobin used to carry the oxygen gas to our body, cells of our body, है ना. So overall the oxygen which we respire in is carried by the hemoglobin, and if the count of hemoglobin falls, then the disease cause anemia occur in the body, and because no oxygen, no energy, so the person used to be very weak. Thank you. I hope you have got this chapter, and I also enjoyed while teaching you, but for the better explanation you can also read your textbook.